Welcome to Pound for Pound ATL. Of course, you know I'm Toby D, and it's time to talk some Atlanta Falcons football. And of course, I'm sure you already know Anthony Rush is gone, y'all. This D line is forming, and I think they are on the tip of being great this season, but they will be doing it without Anthony Rush. And boy, I'll tell you what, it was a shocker because this guy has given you a lot of quality snaps. Now, he could have played better. Of course, even JR had mentioned that on our last live show that he wanted to see a little bit more out of Anthony Rush, especially with the snaps that he was giving you. I mean, he had 28 snaps in the Browns game alone, ladies and gentlemen, and those 28 snaps, 87 snaps total, are gone. And I'm going to give you my theory on why I believe that Anthony Rush has hit the road for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, you know Arthur Smith has not hidden that he's told us that he is going to have this roster looking different than what it might have been starting in the offseason to what it was going into OTAs to training camp to right now. And we are seeing the fluidity of the changes on this roster as we speak. And it started with Anthony Rush. Now, before Anthony Rush, they signed a guy to their practice squad, formerly of Minnesota, but he's been in a lot of different places. I believe the Houston Texans was his last team that he was with. As a matter of fact, he had been with them twice during his journeyman career in the NFL. But his best stop was with the Minnesota Vikings, ladies and gentlemen, and that's Jaleel Johnson. 6'3", defensive tackle, nose tackle, 316 pounds. And he could do some things possibly for the Atlanta Falcons later on in the future. Let's get to talking about that right now. I want to start looking at some snap counts of some of the guys so far through 4 games. I'm going to start with Taquan Graham. He has gotten a lot of hype. Brian Baldinger, he's definitely got his attention after that Cleveland Browns game. I mean, our boy Taquan Graham wrecked shop up there in the front, just pushing people around, throwing them all over the place, getting back there to the ball carrier, disrupting things, getting out there and tearing up screens, destroying that, and not allowing you to do the things that you have had success doing coming in. And we all know it's no secret through the first 3 games of the Browns, they had a lot of success with those screen plays. Just ask Kevin Stefanski if that is true or not, because he definitely said he felt some frustration there with them not being able to operate out of them screens like they wanted to and felt they could have because of the little things that we don't think about that the defensive line does. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. But let's talk about Taquan Graham. Already has 170 deserving snaps for the Atlanta Falcons, right? With what he's been doing, and Grady Jarrett gave him the praises in the offseason, talking about his work ethic and the effort that he brings. And you are starting to see that maturity in his second year with the Atlanta Falcons, guys, the strength that he is showcasing. Grady Jarrett was someone he said he looked up to. And so you know that work ethic of Grady Jarrett and the effort that Grady Jarrett gives has rubbed off on Taquan Graham. What a great partner next to Grady Jarrett. That's really probably had one of the effects on Anthony Rush being sent up out of here by the Atlanta Falcons. Let's talk about Timmy Horne, undrafted rookie who made the 53 roster before the season started. I mean, this man already has 68 snaps with the Atlanta Falcons. You can tell they really like what he's bringing to the table. Now, my guy, Abdullah Anderson. Now, I couldn't understand at first why Abdullah didn't initially make the 53. With what he showed in that Jaguars game, the way he was so disruptive, not getting washed out of the plays when they were trying to run zone plays, being able to still penetrate through all of that, get back there through the rubbish, make the tackles on the ball carrier, and show you a little bit of pass rush. And this guy could even play on the end when you needed him to as well. Audi Ogundeji, 140 snaps so far for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, you got the rookie Arnold Ebiketie, who is right up on his tail right now with 133. And Arnold Ebiketie is definitely this close to really having himself a day for the Atlanta Falcons. JR said it. He felt like he is this close to having double and possibly triple sack game one day. Now, hopefully Sunday against them Buccaneers that the Falcons may be able to get Ebiketie to do that because, man, he was all in the grill of Brissett when they were playing. I mean, Brissett was probably like, where is this rookie coming from? But he was terrorizing them all day long. And I love seeing that, man. He has been very close. He's playing a lot of snaps for the Atlanta Falcons, man, right now. And of course, you know, you got your superstar Grady back, Jarrett. Yes, the old Grady Jarrett of old is back for the Atlanta Falcons. And I would venture to say he's having an even better season than he's ever had. Now, he didn't want to admit that during the presser that he had recently, but he always kept deflecting it and talking about what he wants to do to help this team win. And he's definitely doing it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Atlanta Falcons. Man, and you see all these guys who are getting some very good quality snaps, but I wonder now who's going to take up some of those snaps that Anthony Rush has left on the table for the Atlanta Falcons. Could it possibly be Abdullah Anderson, who gets some more shine? I think he's deserved it and he's earned it because he also had a pretty decent game against that Browns offense of rushing attack. So he could be one of the guys. Taquan Graham, he's already getting his just due snaps. But you could see Abdullah Anderson play a huge, bigger role for the Atlanta Falcons. Now let's talk about one of the places that I believe that Anthony Rush lacked in that might have hurt him as well. Special teams. Now, I'm going to tell you, in the offseason, when I went to camp, I made some jokes and saying they couldn't value special teams that much because they don't look like they practicing that much. Well, they fooled me because just about every guy on his team is not someone that can't play on special teams and someone that you don't rely on playing on the special teams at all. These guys are participating, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't think they took special teams serious, like I fooled myself thinking that, then we will all be lying to ourselves because I'm going to tell you right now, Anthony Rush, I looked at their special team snap counts. He's the only one besides Grady Jarrett that has 0. When you look at everybody else on the special teams, they have contributed in some form, way, and fashion. Timmy Horne, 18 snaps on special teams. Abdullah Anderson, 14 snaps. Audi Ogundeji, of course, 27 snaps. Now, Arnold Ebiketie has a low percentage. But you know what? You're not really looking for him to have to worry about him doing any special teams work because you want him to really get after that passer. But everybody else, guys, when you look on here, even Lorenzo Carter with 11 snaps on special teams, I believe that plays or played a contribution in Anthony Rush dismissal from the Atlanta Falcons because nobody on that team is that special where they cannot play special teams. I wish defensive coordinator Dean Pease would go in there and say, I need my guys to be able to play more defensive snaps. I don't see it happening because they really want anybody they can to play special teams. Jaleel Johnson, guess what? 2020, he had 88 snaps on special teams, ladies and gentlemen. That should tell you something right there. And one of the reasons why they brought this guy in, because he is a guy that can offer them special teams help should they need him. Yeah, they got some big boys that's running down that field. And this is one of the reasons why I believe, again, the second reason why Anthony Rush is out the door, because he doesn't offer anything in that area. But I'm excited about these Falcon defensive lines. It's a lot of things, like I said on the live show, that they're doing that we didn't really see a lot last year, where they're getting out and they're making plays, destroying the screens, destroying wide receiver screens, just getting out there on the perimeter, just making plays, period. I don't care who you were, Lorenzo Carter was tackling anybody and everybody who had that football on Sunday. And he has been that consistent. You saw him when he got that touchdown after recovering the fumble, that Troy Anderson was able to get through that line and block that punt so that he could have a 26-yard run for a touchdown for the Atlanta Falcons in that Rams game. These guys are truly believing in unselfish play for the Atlanta Falcons. And I have to say, I'm excited to see that, because a lot of people that be excited about their snaps and be more excited about their stats, these guys are definitely showing they can care less about them stats, but one in particular, and that is the W on Sunday. And that part there, I didn't think that would be a feasible thing for any team in the NFL to want to do and commit to. But Arthur Smith and that staff definitely has these guys believing, let's get the W at the end of the day. I don't care who's the superstar. I don't care who's not the superstar. At the end of the day, we're at the one common goal, and that's to win. And let's hope they get a win on Sunday, man. I just had to come on here and talk about the D-line. And hopefully, man, they can really get things going this 5th game of the season against these Tampa Bay Bucks, man, and keep it rolling, because I believe they are this close to really having that damn break on getting sacks. 8 sacks already for the season in 4 games and 15 tackles for loss. They are doing some damage early on up front and are sure to break them 18 sacks that they had in 2021. And it's kind of starting to be hard to believe based on how they're playing. But other than that, let me start rambling on. Look, if y'all haven't subscribed to this channel, Pound for Pound ATL, please do so. Continue to like, share, comment, because all those things help us to reach a broader audience, ladies and gentlemen, and really get our content out there. And remember, every Tuesday, live, 7 p.m. Come get in the chat, join us. We will surely read your comment when we see it. Hey, get your opinions heard. Other than that, Toby D, Pound for Pound ATL. Peace. I'm out.